Yeah, so we have a two-step solution for aviation, which is really interesting. Right now, we want people to be able to remove their carbon footprint from when they fly and to do that in a science-based, proven, measurable way. And then we can also work to decarbonize aviation operations at scale. So major airlines, for example, they have carbon footprints measured in the millions of tons per
Yeah.
year. So we can actually scale up our operation to remove vast quantities of CO2. We can get to megaton scale quite quickly. We're at kiloton scale at the moment. And then the next phase is enabling the supply of hemp biomass created sustainable aviation fuel. So what that does is it's actually removing CO2 from the air and then using that carbon to create fuel. So instead of digging up fossil fuels and leaving a net negative effect in terms of carbon, we're actually recycling the carbon that's in the air, and it has up to 80% emissions reduction effect. This is using current aircraft, current engines, current infrastructure. So it's literally the most important pathway to decarbonizing aviation.
And something that I find personally so exciting about the potential of hemp SAF is it would be fully in line with the Refuel EU regulations, and especially taking into consideration that you can literally grow hemp everywhere around the world. It would be locally accessible around the world. So you could grow it near the airport, drastically reducing the need for complex infrastructure and logistics to get the fuel from where it was created to where it's being used. So
Yes, it's
it
a
further
no-brainer.
reduces the carbon emissions.
You're absolutely right. So our vision really is that the airports of the near future will have hemp growing on the
Mhm.
green spaces around the runways and the infrastructure. So what that means is that the hemp is literally removing the airport's operational carbon footprint essentially in real time. And then that carbon can be used in two ways. One is to build new airport infrastructure from hempcrete, a biomaterial. We know airports have an endless need to
Yeah.
build new infrastructure. So this is a way for them to build infrastructure that's very sustainable and creates a wonderful space for people to be. And then the other part of the biomass can be diverted into SAF production, sustainable aviation fuel. So literally, can you imagine an airport being able to grow its own fuel on site and then
Yeah.
sell that to airlines?
And it's funny because it sounds so futuristic and so out of proportion, but we'll be looking back at the way we used to do things of drilling holes somewhere in the Middle East and then getting a ship to drive or to literally ship the oil around the world
Yeah,
to an airport for me to get from A to B. It's ridiculous when you
it's
think about it.
crazy.
Yeah.
And that actually reminds me of it's a fairly startling statistic. When we look at all the carbon emissions globally from fossil fuels, oil and gas primarily, 40% of the fossil fuel carbon footprint is created from processing and transporting the fuel. It's absolutely ridiculous the amount of hidden emissions that exist in the world. And people need to understand that it's more than the emissions that come from your plane or from your car when you use the petrol. It has this big, long trail of toxic emissions going all the way back to the source.